I don't know how many times I have been on calls with people, potential clients, who tell me that they are not ready to actually take action on whatever it is that they want to do, starting a business or, taking the next step with scalability or getting clients, that they're not ready for that yet because they need to take care of their mindset first. This is a thing that we really believe that once we take care of our mindset, things are going to start jiving. Things are going to start working. We're going to feel more motivated, more inspired to actually take action. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be one of the first proponents that your mindset is 80% of the work. This is true. But it is also true that taking action helps you get your mindset straight. So if you've been waiting to take action so that before you actually take action, you feel more confident, that's just not the way that it goes. That's like putting the cart before the horse, or the horse before the cart. I always forget which one it is. So what I wanted to talk about today is how that thinking that you need to be more confident before you do X, Y, Z, is actually affecting your financial success. That's right. Today we're talking all about financial abundance mindset. Hi, my name is Ina Coveney. I'm a marketing strategist and business coach, and this is the Superhumans podcast, where I interview the top success stories out there to humanize their success, to deconstruct what makes these people superhuman, and can you do the same? And the answer is always yes, and we figure it out right here together. What you're landing on right now is my lesson episodes. These are episodes that I do on Thursdays. You can check out all the interviews on Tuesdays. And these solo episodes come out on Thursdays to give you the real deal of what it is like to start your business, to be on your own, to make more money, like to do the thing that you want to do to get farther in life. That's what we talk about in these episodes. So make sure to go and subscribe and follow so you don't miss another one of these. And yeah, get ready because this is a space where we get real. And today I'm really hoping to rewire your mind for abundance mindset. So how do you know that you need this? How do you know that abundance mindset is scarce in your mind? How do you know that you're missing that chip? There's a few telltale signs that by themselves are not enough to diagnose this need. By themselves, they could be perfectly good habits that you have acquired over time. The only person that can really tell you if these are signs of scarcity is you. I'm going to give you a really clear example of scarcity. And I'm going to tell you when it's okay and when it's not okay. The example is you're with a friend at a store, and the friend tells you, oh, look at this. This is exactly like the hair clip that I used to use when I was 5 years old, and my mother took me to that salon, and there was this lady with it, and she gave it to me, and this one is just like it. It's so amazing. And you tell her, why don't you buy it? Right? Just buy it so you can keep it. That is such a beautiful feeling. And your friend goes, oh, no, 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 I can't. I can't. I don't have the money for this. No, I can't. And puts it back. By itself, it is not necessarily a sign of scarcity. I'm going to tell you when that is a sign of scarcity and when it isn't. It is not a sign of scarcity when you know your financial situation, when you are aware, fully aware of how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, and you have allocated those resources in a positive way so that you can keep planning for the future and keep moving through your life. Having priorities of where your money goes because you know your money is not a sign of scarcity. In fact, it sounds like a really healthy way to go about the world. So if your friend has that plan and she's hyper focused on that plan, and she says, I know that one day I will come back and buy this. Right now, I have other priorities. I have other goals with my money that are going to help me get faster to where I want to go. But right now, I just cannot spend the money on this. I would love to, and one day I will be back. Versus your friend not being aware of her financial situation. And all she knows is that money is constantly leaving her account, that she is constantly struggling to keep any of that money, that she sees her spending money where she really shouldn't be. And this is another trigger for her. This situation right now is a big trigger for her, that she wishes she could buy it, but she knows she can't. She slaps herself on the wrist and it's like, no, 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 I need to stop. That is almost like wanting to lose weight and going on a super aggressive fat diet. It's not a long-term goal. It's not sustainable. And it just keeps feeding your mind this idea that you do not have the money for anything. So I just showed you the same situation. One where your friend, both of them, where your friend is telling you she cannot buy that right now. But in one case, your friend knows exactly why. And she has her sights on a much bigger goal. And in the other one, your friend is rejecting buying that hair clip because of fear. And that is scarcity, rearing its ugly head. So how do you know if you have a scarcity mindset? It manifests like that in being afraid of spending, in overthinking every expenditure, in buying everything and then feeling bad about it, right? Is when we attach fear to where money's coming from and the money that is going out. If you have that kind of fear, if you're afraid to even open up your bank account because you don't know what you're going to see, or you hate going to your bank account because you know that you didn't make any money today again, then that's fear popping into your life. And that is scarcity. So how do we go about creating an abundance mindset when the reality is your resources are your resources? It is what it is. You have this much money or you don't have this much money. So how do we create an abundance mindset when we really don't have the money, when we don't have the money to spend? So I have 4 areas that are really going to help you figure this out. And we're going to start. Actually, we already started with number 1. It's actually 5. I just decided to ignore the identification because we just went through it, right? Number 1 was identifying, do you have a scarcity mindset or not? And the way you figure that out is not by how you're spending or not spending, is by asking yourself if there's fear around money. If there is, then you need this. You need the next 4 things. Okay, so let's start with the next one. Continue with number 2, which is your own habits. Do you see yourself checking your bank account? Do you see yourself making plans for the money that is coming in? Do you see yourself feeling grateful for the money that comes in? Or is it that every time that money hits your account, you see it and you're like, oh, it's still not enough? Do you think that you would act differently if the amount was bigger? I'm going to venture to say no. I have been there. I have made $27 for a product and looked at it and said, man, that's just not enough. And I have made $10,000 for a single product on a single day, still thinking, man, was that enough? The amount is not what dictates your scarcity. It's the fear around it. It's that negative feeling. It's the not feeling grateful for that thing. That's when you change your mind and you say, I am grateful for this $27 because I know that where this one came from, another one is going to come. I'm grateful for this $10,000 because it allows me to serve a beautiful client and I am going to do my best with them. When you start to apply gratitude to your money, then checking your bank account starts to feel a little bit more joyous. And that joy matters. because it attacks the fear. Joy attacks fear. Joy trumps fear. So next time that you check your account, I want you to feel grateful for what is there. And this is a habit. You don't do this once, you don't do this twice. This is something you have to train yourself to do every day. I am grateful for the amount of money that is there. I'm grateful for the amount of money that I made this week. I am grateful for what's going to come next month. Gratitude is going to help you tackle those fears. Let's go to point number 3. And that is how to break out of generational messages that have been passed down from your parents, from your grandparents. When I first put together my big offer, I was going to charge $5,000 for coaching. And I wanted to share that with my mother because I felt like that was a breakthrough for me. And what did my mother say? Who would pay for that? That was her response. Who would pay for that? And I had to ask her to stop doing that. I had to talk to my mother and tell her, you cannot question these things. You don't understand them, but that doesn't make them not okay. Sometimes the way that your parents think about money kind of seeps into your psyche a little bit. And we are on a much bigger mindset track than our parents ever were, just by the fact that this mindset work was not really a thing. It was not mainstream. It was not well known when they were growing up. So while right now we're getting so many people really getting into mindset, it's most likely something you didn't grow up with. So your parents are just not going to understand your new money journey. They're not going to understand your pricing. They're not going to understand why you do these things and why you care so much about certain things. They don't know, they don't understand it. So it's really important that you know where those thoughts came from. If they came from your parents, you got to know that it came from them. So that when you catch yourself thinking them, you can say to yourself, I'm on a different journey now. It's 2024, about to be 2025. This is not 1970. This is not 1960. This is not 1950. We are done thinking that way. We are going to create a brand new life, and that requires a brand new mindset. And sometimes that means not talking to your parents about money. I'm sorry to say, sometimes it means just protecting your own mind so that you can be on a more abundant path. I have been lucky enough that I can tell my mother, please don't ask me about that. Please, when I tell you this, do not react a certain way, right? I have the comfortable relationship with my mother that I can tell her these things. And she doesn't pretend to understand those things, but she will go along because she loves me and she wants to see me happy. So she has learned how to talk to me about it, even though she still doesn't understand it. So if you have that ability to get your parents to kind of play along with you, take that chance. If you don't have that ability, if your parents cannot get over their own biases, then start limiting what you say exactly. There's many other people you can talk to about these things. But we have to start breaking that generational teaching because it's not serving us. Number 4 gets back to that friend who was at the store and who saw that clip. Should she have bought that clip? Yes or no? I'm going to tell you, there's nothing better than buying something just because it makes you happy. That feeling is incredible. But here's the deal. Whenever I say that, the first thought that comes to mind is frivolous purchases. So I've decided to kind of take a different spin on that. Instead of thinking, well, I'm just going to buy whatever I want, whenever I want, because I feel like it and because that makes me feel abundant, not a very smart way to use your money. What I want you to notice is what are some small purchases that would create a huge change in your life, because we tend to ignore those and then splurge our money on something we really don't need, right? But that makes us happy. There's this balance that I have struck that I love. And that is that I only like buying things. Okay, maybe not only, but I make a very, very concerted effort to buy things that will improve my quality of life. Because there are some things that I just keep ignoring. Why? And I'm going to tell you one. I'm going to give this one to you right now. I want you to go out and buy yourself a new pack of underwear. We ignore things that people can't see. And sometimes it's been a while. Get yourself new underwear. Get yourself new socks. Things that would literally make your life better, but you keep ignoring. Things you wear every single day and you keep ignoring. Those are the little wins that are going to make you feel so much better. And I know that people use the Starbucks example a lot, right? People go like, oh, if you did not spend $15 on Starbucks every day, you would be saving $1 million a year, right? Like we've all heard that. You don't necessarily have to give up current habits, but you can start acquiring some new ones. So let's say that you decide to only have a Starbucks coffee or whatever it is. Replace that with whatever your guilty pleasure is. You would like to do that only once a week. And with the rest of the money, you're going to upgrade something in your life that has been causing you grief. What is it? Is it that you don't have enough storage space in your bedroom so that things start to pile up when you could go online and for $6 buy some bed risers and create more space under your bed? So you can start putting things away, and when you wake up in the morning, you're not staring at a mess. That's a great one. What about buying a new set of sponges for the sink, for the kitchen sink? Because the ones that you've been using have been there forever, and you don't even know what kind of bacteria are growing in there. That would be a nice upgrade. So I want you to stop thinking of buying something to make yourself happy, to make yourself feel abundant as a frivolous purchase. Instead, upgrade the little things in your life that you keep ignoring, but would be extremely inexpensive to do something about. You know what I did one time? I used to run out of scrunchies. I am a huge scrunchie fan. They're everywhere. And I went online, and I believe it was like $12. I bought a pack of 24 perfect soft scrunchies. And I kept 10 in the third floor, like 10 in the second floor, and then the rest in the first floor of my house. Yeah, my house is like an old Victorian, so my office is on the third floor. So I have scrunchies in a drawer in all 3 floors. That is something that only cost me $15, and it improved the quality of my life, and I feel abundant for it because I can find scrunchies anywhere. What is that for you? And finally, number 5, you got to start getting your conversations going with your relationships in your life. If you have a spouse that is not on the same page financially, it's time to start talking about it. If you have a spouse who controls your finances and it's making you feel a little bit less than, the fact that you don't really know enough about it, tell them that you want to learn more about it. Take a course. We just featured Tess Waresmith in the podcast in the last episode. Go back and listen to that episode and see what she's offering. How is she teaching people like you, like me, how to get into investing and learn more? It's because of Tess's workshop that I attended in person right here in Boston that I even got the courage to sign up for a high yield savings account. And now I'm making money every month. While I was making 5 cents a month before, now I'm making about $50 a month on just interest. I wasn't going to do that because I'm not the one who handles the finances in my house. I went and I did it. And by the way, I did my homework because I wanted to get a high yield savings account for business. And many of them, they will not allow you to use them for business. In fact, they will shut down your account, your high yield savings account, They will shut it down if they know you're using it for business. So if you want a really good one for business, I did all my homework. I read all the terms and conditions for all of them, and I'm recommending one below. It's by Betterment. So if you go to realsuperhumans.com/betterment, that's going to get you in. And by the way, if you use that link, you get an extra 0.5% APY. That's yield interest. And I get that little kickback too. Isn't that cool? You actually get more when you use this link than if you just went straight to Betterment and signed up by yourself. So that link is below, realsuperhumans.com/betterment, to sign up for a high yield savings account. If you're keeping your business money in a savings account, it's time for it to start working for you. I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for people like Tess, if it wasn't for Tess specifically. So go back and listen from her. And then talk to your spouse about it. Talk to your partner about it. If you guys are not on the same page on how to spend money, start talking about your goals. This needs to happen because otherwise it's just going to continue to be a source of frustration for you and for them, because you can see each other not spending in the way that the other one would really ideally like that money to be spent. It's time to talk about it openly. So you guys can start rowing in the same direction even. So those are my 5 tips so that you can start to feel more financially abundant. Number 1, identify what are the things in your life that are making you feel not abundant. And it's usually related to fear. Number 2, get your abundance mindset practices going. Start feeling grateful for the money that comes in. Number 3, start breaking those generational money cycles. Number 4, balance living well with paying for things for the future, with saving for the future. Start upgrading your life little by little, rather than spending so much money on frivolous purchases. And finally, get the relationships in your life working for you too. Those conversations need to be had, and you know it. So if you have any questions, you can always DM me. I've had those conversations with my spouse, and they usually turn out a lot better than you think. In fact, I told that story in the last podcast episode with Tess. So go and check that out. Thank you so much for being here. If you're here, please click follow, subscribe so that you don't miss another one of these superhuman episodes. And I will see you on the next one.